All right, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house, and welcome back to the channel. Today I got two icons on the table. I got the Leica M11 and Leica M7. Both are gorgeous, and though both are my users, and they're just fantastic cameras. So Leica M7 is a film camera, rangefinder, and the M11 is also a rangefinder camera, but it's digital, and as you can see from the back. And I just want to go like real quick through those two models and tell you why I got both, and what does it mean to shoot in 2024 with the film Leica or like a digital Leica. And you can already tell that from the aesthetic point of view, you're like dealing with some of the nicest camera ever designed, because I mean, just a timeless and iconic and a clean look that is withstanding the passing of time, big time, because this is, you know, it's never changed pretty much throughout the years, and this is a testament. So this is the digital version of this one. So you might ask, why are you shooting with both? Well, because of the experience. Primarily, it's a very different experience shooting film than digital, even if what Leica has done so great is to keep the experience as close as possible when you're using digital to the analog version of shooting Leica M. Because of course you gotta have like the rangefinder in both occasions, so all the optics are gonna be manual focus. Of course, you're gonna have the wheel that is pretty much the same size of the Leica M7. That Leica M6 TTL also has the same size wheel, just like M6, a little bit smaller, so less easy to reach. I would say this is just the perfect strength and reachability for a detent wheel for the shutter speed. There's a couple options, a couple version of the knurled rewinding knob for the film cameras. This is one. The other one is going to be more resembling this guy, which you have to pull out and just manually rotate to rewind the film. Of course, there's no film right over here. So this selector is just intended to a ISO setting, whereas on the film camera you gotta find it on the back, and it's just like a memo right over here for you. I mean, it's not just like a memo for you to remember which film you're using. It's actually interacting with the light meter, which is built in. You also have a DX code option if you wanna just use the DX coding present on the canister of the film. And pretty much is the same. I mean, the design language, of course, did not change. You're missing the lever, of course. You just got the button right there. You still have the on-off switch around the same area. The counter shutter, of course, has been removed, and you have like a customizable button right over there. So the top plate is pretty much the same. Just a little bit of a difference. You have one more contact present. You go for the M11. You gotta be, of course, because you know M11 also can accommodate an EVF if you prefer that, rather than just going with the old school viewfinder, rangefinder. But I mean, I love it. There's no issues for me using the rangefinder. It's a pleasure. So the top plate is pretty much identical. Of course, this it's used to rewind the film, and it's not going to be there like this guy to recock the shutter as well. So if we check the back, also the design is pretty much the same, very clean. You have one button here, which is just to unlock the wheel for the exposure compensation. And this fella right over here, which has a cap, is just to use the synchro flash with the cord. And that is pretty much it. There's nothing going on over here. Here you got a screen, you got 3 buttons and just a directional wheel. Another wheel, it's present over here with a little bump, if you can see, which just gives you a little bit more grip compared to the analog M. So the fact that the size is pretty much the same, you're gonna have a little bit more grip, and this is a critical area because you're gonna hold the camera like exactly with your thumb in that position. That's why you can actually buy some thumb rest, so you can just put it like that, and it's gonna be much more securely attached to your hand with a wrist strap. You're just good to go. That's a pretty neat one for sure. I would say another essential accessory for me is this guy right over here, because this is the it's an eye piece. Sorry, for the viewfinder magnifier. In this case, we get a 1.25 times the magnification of the finder that is present on your camera. For example, in this case, you get a 0.72. Let me see if you can see. There you go. Magnification. So it would be pretty good to add the 1.25, especially in this case. When you use a 50mm, you're going to have the frames that are going to become a little bit bigger, and also the patch on the rangefinder is going to become a little bit bigger, therefore giving you a little bit of an edge when you're going to be focusing through the rangefinder, because just the actual patch is bigger, so you're going to be a little bit more accurate when you use the 50, which has usually a smaller bright line frames. Also from the back right over here, I would say, yeah, pretty much the finder just actually got a little bit thicker. And just a side note, if you guys want to use this little eyepiece on the digital M, you have to buy an adapter, which is installed right over here to reduce the thread size on the eyepiece. Just something to remember if you want to go that route. If you check the base plate, you're gonna see some other differences, and this is the first time that there's like a departure from the full metal base plate, which is present here on the right on the film camera. You can see clearly that one very welcomed change was the moving of the tripod socket, which is off to the side, whereas here is just centered with the lens, which is, I think, what you're supposed to do. So many people got upset because the base plate was removed. Pretty much how it works is that you have this hinge right over here. You just it's a latch. You just pull up, you rotate, you put it to the side, and this just opens up like so, and it's allowing you to just load like a roll of film right into this side. Just pull the film, pass it through, and just lock it into those like film catcher. I don't know the technical term for that part, but it's just gonna be as this scheme is suggesting you, so pretty straightforward. You're just gonna have the film loaded right over there, press the plate, lock into place, just keep it just pressed, and just close the back like that. This is just a beautiful movement, a beautiful experience when you actually remove this, because you feel some machining precision during this little movement, this little act, this little action is giving you pleasure. That is part of the experience of using a Leica M. Like the simple fact that you can do this it's just not trivial, because no other lens will be giving you the experience, the feel in your hand when you focus a lens like that. I know that it doesn't have to do anything with the final image production, sure, of course, but what about having a great tool that is capable of producing great images and capable of giving you a fantastic experience while you produce those images? That would be the best case scenario, because photography is just like an enjoyable act for me. So it's something, kind of like borderline meditative, or just remove the borderline, it's meditative. So when you do this, when you perform the act of taking a photograph and you enjoy that act through this kind of smoothness in focusing, or like this kind of detent feel, or the actual sound that just this machine is capable of producing. Look, just for example, just hear the 60th of a second. It's just fantastic. And when you hear the cranking of the lever, I mean, this could be an ASMR video, because of the beauty of the sound, the quality exuding from this piece is also witnessed and experienced through the sound. So basically, the three main channels, are the look, the sound, and the feel. So how you look, the design at how you look at a piece, how you look at the design of a piece. That's the look. The sound, of course, the sound it makes is just fantastic. This is the same. This is no different. Like, even quieter. The shutter sound is just so smooth, so pleasant, that when you hold it and you take a picture, it just transmits to your body some weird sensations. It's really hard to describe for me, but you gotta try to understand what I'm talking about. Like, focusing this brass chromed 50 Summilux 1.4 is a pleasure. The detent on the aperture sounds amazing. It's like a great feel. So this is all the experience, the Leica experience. When you take a shot, you are taken away from the camera, from paying attention to the camera, except for the feel, like the weight, the smoothness in the focus, in the aperture, in the shutter speed, in changing the dials, in looking through a viewfinder, which is it's done through pure piece of glass. There's no electronic, nothing. It's virtually transparent, and there's no barrier between you and the subject, just a piece of glass. So it's allowing you for like a more pure connection, I would say, because there's no media, no EVF, nothing going on between you and the subject. That's amazing. So you keep your focus on the camera. Not on the camera, sorry, on the subject, and you do not focus on the camera. In fact, there's no buttons. Once you set, for example, aperture, you pick the aperture, you go aperture priority, and auto ISO. With this thing, it's a point and shoot. You can pick like whatever hyperfocal or like just focus and shoot. You have a point and shoot, high resolution, 60 megapixel. I mean, come on, guys, ridiculous. With a form factor, like extremely compact, both for digital and analog. Lenses are ridiculously small, guys. Come on, look at this. This is a 51.4. I'm also shooting Nikon Z mount. The 51.2 is humongous. Weighs like the camera and the lens, probably. And it's like huge, it's a massive. This guy is tiny. And it's inconspicuous. So when you shoot Leica M especially, people are not going to take you seriously. They think you have like a whatever old camera, and vintage one, you're like a nostalgic, and this guy is not serious, so whatever is going to let him take his shot. So this is another great advantage you get with shooting with Leica M, your stealth. And if you go all the way, all black, I mean, come on, you're going to be even stealthier. Or you can be a little bit flashier and go with a chrome, and you're going to be, a little bit, it's even looking even more vintage if you go with a chrome. I mean, And looking at the front, like, of course, it's a pleasure. You see that there's even more similarities, I mean, than other place. You have, of course, the button release, which is a little bit different from this angle. There is a little guard, which is gone in the digital. You get the frame selector lever on this side, which is fully made out of metal. Like in this case, you have just a little plastic tab, but also frame selector is here. Very useful if you want to predict how a lens is going to look. So you just select that and you can preview the frames for the correspondent lens, and you just pop on the lens that you prefer based on your bright line frames. Of course, this is the rewind lever release, which is absent, of course, in the digital one. The rangefinder windows are the same, located in the same position. Of course, you are missing this window right over here, because this one is the one that is gathering the lights for the frames, which is absent. Of course, here you have a sensor going on the corner there that is gone. It's not, I mean, it's not gone, it just popped into this one, and it never was present before. So very simple. Of course, this is the battery compartment, which is on the base plate right over here. And actually, it has a pretty clever mechanism. You just release it by pulling this lever, and the battery just pops out, but it just stays in place. It doesn't fall unless you just push it inward and just release it, so you can remove the battery. That is just a fantastic solution to get rid of the base plate and to get your centered socket for the tripod. Fantastic. Another big difference, I would say, I mean, beside the fact that, hello, we got digital and analog, is that this guy reaches 4,000 of a second up against the 1,000 of a second of this bad boy. And it's very useful. That is why you probably want to get something like that, just an ND filter, like 4 stops, 6 stops for the daylight is going to be mandatory if you want to shoot 1.4 and you got like a 400 ISO film. Yeah, you're gonna need an ND filter 100%. Otherwise, you just gotta have to lose that beautiful effect that this guy's capable to create if you shoot it wide open, and you're gonna have to crank it down and increase the depth of field. But why would you want to do that? Anyways, these are my two Leicas, and I shoot with 50 and 35 because they are the best lenses that you can get for these format. I had a bunch of other Leica lenses. I'm sticking with these two because it's perfect for the format. Of course, I would love like 75. I would love like a 21, but you're gonna need like for the widest, you're gonna need an external viewfinder. For the tightest, you're gonna need an external viewfinder, and it's not gonna be accurate, so there's gonna be issues. These are the sweet spots for me, and it works perfectly. You can swap, of course, lenses between digital and analog. It's same system, same M system, same great tiny lenses. I mean, look at this. So that's a fantastic form factor. The look is incredible. The sound that these guys make is like absolutely quiet. I believe back in the days when photographers were shooting in the court during trials, only Leica M were allowed because they were lacking the mirror flapping up and down. So it was very, very quiet. And then only if you had Leica M, you were allowed to shoot during those trials, not to disturb what was going on. That was brilliant. So that's another thing that you must consider when shooting this. You're gonna be quiet, you're gonna be stealth. It's pocketable. You can travel and bring like 2-3 lenses with you everywhere because it's so compact. Not very lightweight, I would say. And hello, elephant in the room, not at all cheap. These are very expensive cameras. This thing is like ridiculously priced at $9,000 just the body. I mean, it's nuts. The lenses are $4,000 or $5,000. I mean, it's crazy expensive, but Another good thing about Leica that I can say is that if you buy secondhand, you buy used and in good condition, it's gonna keep the value. 100%. Not so much for the digital bodies, but film bodies and lenses, they are going to keep the value if you buy secondhand. So just go on eBay or the Kijiji or whatever, like Facebook Marketplace, wherever you can, Reddit, you can buy and look for secondhand lenses. Yeah, go for it, do your due diligence, of course, before researching the seller, but that's where you get the best bang for your bucks. It's just how it works. It's fantastic. So you can try it out, and you're gonna have to spend some money, but then if you don't like it, you can just sell it out and you're gonna get your money back. If you wait a little bit more, maybe you can even make some money on some lenses. Some lenses, they keep raising, they keep going up in price, and you cannot get them anymore. Anyways, just wanted to, do a little comparison, let's say, between digital Leica and analog Leica, even if it probably doesn't make any sense, but because I shoot both and I love both, and they have different purposes and different uses, because this is something, when I'm, I don't know, it really depends on my mood, or I guess, or mindset, or my feelings, and then I'm just gonna pick one or pick the other, or just maybe pick both if I feel to do that. So the film, of course, it's a more contemplative, more meditative kind of photography, because you're gonna have to think a little bit more, and you're gonna have to wait a little bit more, so you're gonna have to be okay with a little bit of romanticism involved, because there's the wait for, of course, the results. And I mean, guys, would you look at this combo right there? Another thing that I wanted to show you is the raised bayonet of the M. You see, it's a little bit higher than that. You get a cloth curtain here, and here you get some metal going on. You can also see the rangefinder mechanism. That's pretty much the same. And also another thing that is beautiful, you notice that the black lens went on the black body, but if you want to do black lens on chrome body, it just looks spectacular if you care about the look. If you want to see how a black body would go with a chrome lens, here you have it. You have a panda and anti-panda kind of versions for the cameras. Look at that. It's a pretty cool view, and it's gonna match because the design, the language design is the same, and it's really pretty much unchanged throughout the years. If you check the Leica 3, of course, kind of style, it was different because all the rangefinder, all this stuff was just kind of like exposed, and then they covered everything with the Leica M3, which was just like gorgeous. It's pretty much like the same design as now. So something classic, like iconic, evergreen, made in Germany, sometimes made in Canada for some lenses, but made in Germany with some of the highest tolerances and strict, how to say, like really strict procedures to put these guys together by hand. And I understand the price. It's an iconic product. It's very expensive. It's super reliable. They can fix it if something happens, and I mean, it's beautiful. It sounds great. It feels so good in the hand. It's like pocketable. You can travel. It's stealth, inconspicuous. I mean, guys, this is pretty solid camera, and these are the reasons why I love Leica. There's a couple of reasons why I don't like Leica, and for example, mainly it would be like my inability to focus with 1.4 accurately enough when a subject is moving towards me or it's going away. So that is something you gotta master. So moving subjects, it's gonna be a pain because this is only manual focus. You can do peak focus on this one. You can use EVF to give you, it's gonna give you a little bit of an edge towards the analog, sure, but that has to be kept in mind because it's gonna be an issue if you want to catch pictures of people or animals or items moving, and if they're moving fast, oof, you're gonna have some troubles. But beside that, the look that these lenses are capable of producing is just unique, and that's why you want to shoot Leica, for the experience, for the look, not so much for the status. I don't care, because nobody knows. Like, I mean, if unless you're like a photo guy enthusiast or whatever, otherwise people, they don't care. So whatever camera you have with the red dot or not, they're gonna look pretty much at the same at you. So don't worry about that. Don't do it for the status, do it for the experience that you get out of these tools, and for the images that you get out of these tools, because from this guy you can get some pretty cool negatives, and from this guy you get some extremely high resolution images. So keep in mind, it is going to drain your wallet for sure, but you're gonna have something that you can try it out, and you can actually sell it if you decide it's not for you. So you can try it out, and you're not gonna lose too much money. So these are my recommendation. I would stick with the 50, with the 35. Those are my favorite focal lengths, but you can go ahead and try everything. You can adapt. There's plenty of brands. You don't have to buy Leica lenses. You can also buy other brands, but why you want to buy a Leica body to use a non-Leica lens? Don't do that. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that. I would use Leica lenses because of what they can produce in terms of image plasticity, 3D-ness, like the separation of the planes, of the bokeh. I mean, the vintage look, if you get a vintage lens, I mean, the possibilities are endless, really. So there you have it. These are the pros and cons, the why I like and what I don't like about these two cameras. Mainly Leica M system. It's a great system, looks good, feels good, sounds amazing. It's very expensive, it's kind of slow, it's maybe a little bit awkward sometimes and quirky for sure, but I love it. So there you have it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned.